The fire makes the city look so bright. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This valley will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This valley will relieve us. Stay while we leave. Stay with me. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This valley will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This valley will relieve us. Stay while we leave. Stay with me.
Dire Team Ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant Team Ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire Team Ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant Team Ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Bloodseeker.
Radiant team pick.
Zeus.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's that time of year. It has all come down to this, the end of the UGC League Season 4. It's the Grand Finals. Both teams have battled through the entire season and all the playoff brackets to make it here for all the fame and glory. Tonight's match is hosted by New Meta Media. My name is Sub-Zero alongside my co-caster Vivi and also joined by our statsman Armpit. How you doing tonight, Vivi?
Oh, I'm doing pretty great. I'm very excited to see what pans out tonight. Both of these teams very strong coming into this finals. And we've been so happy to follow UGC throughout this season and see some great matches with some great teams. But ultimately, very excited to see what this best of 5 has in store for us tonight.
Yeah, tonight's matchup, beautiful best of 5, can't wait, between NoBroodMama and 9-inch Malez. Should prove to be a great one. I really can't believe how far we've come through this whole season. It just went by so quick. I mean, it's a beautiful league hosted by here UGC, and we're just so happy to be a part of it. And what could I ask for to be beside my co-casters and, you know, just get through every match through all the season. They've been a lot of great ones, they've been a lot of long ones, and I'm happy to finally be here in the grand finals.
I'd like to give a special shout out to DJ Sneak, our public relations liaison, admin, cameraman, and co-caster at times too, just really helping us chug along here as we rip through these matches.
Yeah, thank you very much, DJ Sneak. It's been a big help having us, having you know, kind of help us with the Twitch streams, having us kind of get together in a big collective of being able to stream together and cast together. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, let's get into it for this best of 5 here, Vivi. What do you think about the first picks and bans?
Well, I mean, Bloodseeker is something that comes up a lot in these games, and it's very strange because NoBroodMama tends to ban out the Bloodseeker quite a bit, but picking it up as a safe lane carry can be very viable, or even in the jungle, and when you combine it with Zeus, I mean, just the global presence and info that you get on the enemy team can be absolutely devastating. But 9-inch Malez, I really like the Dazzle pick to save people from the Bloodseeker. It can be absolutely essential in fights. If someone is ruptured and they're running around low health, I mean, you may as well pop a shallow grave on them and let them just go at her.
Yeah, I think we saw this last time I actually casted NoBroodMama in the semifinals. I believe it was the Zeus Bloodseeker, and it's such a destructive combo, as we talked about before. I mean, that global presence is just so dominating at times, and even Bloodseeker can run off by himself. I mean, he's such a cheap hero that we see, but you know, he's still being picked up, and nobody really wants to ban him quite yet. He's apparently not that strong, but he seems to win a lot of his games, and he's just got great potential to kind of snowball. But that being said, I mean, Tusk and Dazzle, that's great survivability, getting away in a snowball or even engaging. And like you said, obviously with Dazzle's Shallow Grave, I mean, that's great sustain for him, especially with that global presence of coming out from NoBroodMama.
Yeah, I also noticed that NoBroodMama is picking heroes that are very much focused around the mid game, not so much scaling hard into the late game, though we do see the Winter Wyvern pick up, which in late game team fights can be devastating with that Winter's Curse ultimate. So I'm very interested to see if 9-inch Malez decides to take this a little bit later, and they will pick up the Gyrocopter, which I think if they play the Farmfest game can out carry the Bloodseeker, but I guess we'll have to see with the rest of the picks.
Yeah, and that's one that NoBroodMama usually tends to ban. They don't like to go up against that gyro. You know, it's a lot of those long-range stuns, hence Missile or the Snowball coming from Tusk, as well as, like, let's say Spirit Breaker, who was actually banned out by 9-inch Malez. But NoBroodMama really doesn't like that sort of initiation. So it's kind of interesting to see Gyro actually slip past the ban phase here. I mean, Storm Spirit, obviously you don't want to see that go up with any sort of initiation against this kind of global presence team. And, you know, with a little bit of sustain from Wyvern, it's great and all, but like you said, Gyro's still a really good hard carry, and I do agree. I think that's a pick that's going to really work well for them, especially going into the late game here.
I would really love to see NoBroodMama pick up the IO. I mean, it's something that they do love to draft, and it goes so well with the Bloodseeker. I've seen that as a combo lately, and it's just been disgusting. You got the Zeus ult to scare out enemy heroes, and then you relocate the Bloodseeker in for an easy kill on someone who's just by themselves. So they do need a support. We'll see what happens. And as for 9-inch Malez, I don't know, what do you think they need to grab here?
Well, they do have their initiation, all they need, as well as the carry, but they're still missing definitely a mid-hero. I mean, Storm Spirit's gone now. Viper's been pretty good as of late, and Quap's obviously been pretty much top of this sort of patch that we've seen in a lot of professional and amateur leagues. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of mid that they want to pick up. They don't have a lot of damage being dealt right now. I mean, Gyro's pretty squishy and doesn't deal a lot early on. His Rocket Barrage is great, but I mean, you have to be up close and tight, and in order to do that, you still have to have a little bit of tank. So, I mean, they're missing that really good kill potential. Oh, yeah, Lena will actually do that for you. That's a lot of magic damage coming out, and as well as her ultimate being that pure, that'll really pierce through anything, especially if, like, Winter Wyvern's going to be throwing out the Cold Embrace to save anybody. That's going to shut down a lot of them, so it's a great pickup for them.
I do like Lena here, especially if it is a mid. I mean, none of the heroes on NoBroodMama are particularly adept at tanking large amounts of single target damage, and if Lena can pick up an Aghanim Scepter, I think she'll be able to quickly make fights into a 4v5, and it really could make things pan out well for them. Also can build into the late game quite well with that Fiery Soul. Just really good at auto-attacking.
Yeah, this is neat between both teams, actually. I mean, there's a lot of mid-game potential on either side here, and lots of great team fight too. I mean, Darkseer coming out, Winter Wyvern's obviously a great team fighter, but then you have Gyro and, you know, Dazzle with so much sustain, and Tusk. You know, Tusk just kind of runs around the map, basically any time actually, whether it's early, late game, doesn't matter. So a lot of good team fight potential. I really hope to see a lot of that in this game. You know, a lot of back and forth between kills and deaths, and especially for game one, it'll really set the tone of this whole best of 5 series.
Now, we see the Tusk run as both a farming core and as a support. I'm not sure if 9-inch Males runs the Tusk very often, but based on this lineup here, what do you think we're going to be seeing out of this Tusk?
You know, you kind of have to run Tusk as that half core anyway. Eventually you're going to need some sort of damage on him, whether it is, you know, going for that Deso or if he wants to go for the Shadowblade route. It's just so key to have that Tusk kind of in a situation where he can get kills solo, or if he is in the team fight, you don't want him just going for, let's just say, drums or phase boots and that's it, because it kind of leaves Tusk kind of on his own, that he can't really get anything done, and there's really no point to him, you know, being in a lane farming or anything if they can't get any kills. So he needs some sort of pick-off potential in certain items. So he's going to go probably, I'd say, in a sort of a semi-core build. It's interesting. If Lena does support or go mid, right? It all depends on this Lena, I think, on which lane she actually wants to go in.
So let's assume that the Lena is going mid, because that's something that we're seeing so often lately, and it's especially adept against the Zeus, who can't tank all that harass. If the Tusk goes into an aggressive dual off-lane situation, the Undying is banned out from NoBroodMama. What other options would they have if they wanted to shut down this Bloodseeker early?
It's a hard offlane to go against, especially, I mean, this Bloodseeker's just going to be able to pan out anything. They're on Radiant side. That's a lot of jungle that the Bloodseeker has to go back if he needs to heal and come back in, and with that Blood Right really trapping anybody, and they need some sort of tanky offlaner. And, I mean, they have decent stuns right now. It wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of go with a Centaur route if they want to continue with this team fight, especially with a Gyrocopter. It does lead to having a good little bit more team fight, him being able to run in, Rocket Barrage, throw down the call down. It works as well really good with Centaur, but I don't know. They need some sort of tank. They just don't have enough right now.
I was thinking the same thing with the Centaur. I mean, in lane, it's a devastating combo, being able to get Centaur and the Snowball, run up, hit them. You've got the Hoof Stomp, you've got the Ice Shards, enough to really take down a Bloodseeker, who really can sustain himself over time, but when he's getting bursted, isn't all that tanky. And I think that's what 9-inch Males is really going to have to focus on, is shutting down this Bloodseeker, because if he begins to take off, it's going to get nasty really fast.
Yeah, for sure. And Vengeful Spirit coming out, that's a great support pick for them. So lanes to be as followed. I think Zeus will be going mid, Bloodseeker probably with the Venge and the Winter Wyvern. And then you can just leave Darkseer on his own. And, you know, there's some really great lanes there. If they get a stun off from the Venge into Bloodright, that's a lot of damage coming. And that's pretty much instant death, especially for a non-tanky offlaner. So as we've been talking about for 9-inch Males, I really feel that they need to get some sort of tank on this.
And we do see the Enigma coming out. So 9-inch Males really playing a little bit more greedy here. I guess the Tusk is going to be solo in the offlane, unless they decide to send the Gyrocopter there. And I'm not too sure how I feel. Enigma, one of the few junglers that can jungle without getting low on health, a la buffing the Bloodseeker, but I still think he's quite susceptible to rotations.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really difficult, especially once Zeus gets a 6. Bloodseeker can kind of rotate if they do have a good early game, and Enigma really gets shut down quick after that. He's pretty squishy early on. Yeah, he's going to be able to stun a Bloodseeker, but, I mean, he can just chase him down in a jungle. And, I mean, with the combo, I see it, obviously Black Hole and Call Down with the Gyrocopter, but I feel like they're still lacking a little bit of damage. I mean, they don't have really any good burst from the Lena, I feel. So it'll be interesting to see. A lot of good mid game coming out here, and I mean, as most games go, it's really going to be who gets the early jump, but really difficult to call for this one.
I was going to say it's a really good thing that the Enigma is on the Dire side too, because I do find that the Dire jungle is a little bit safer to farm. Especially since, you know, if you want these 3 big camps on the Radiant side, you are very close to all the entrance points from the river and from the lane, you know, very easy to gank.
Might have a remake here, 1 sec.
Oh no.
Alright, stand by everybody. I guess they're having a little lag issue with the servers. We're just going to fix that up and then we'll get right underway. Okay, we're back after a quick remake here. Once we get all the heroes underway, then we'll be ready to start this game for once.
Winter Wyvern.
Bloodseeker.
Oh, I had my open mic turned off. They're gonna make us wait the whole 45 seconds.
Ugh, this game, I tell you.
Oh my god. Seriously, I feel like every time we cast together, just something like this happens, or a team doesn't show up, and the biggest struggles. Casting
well,
life.
I think we have everything good to go now. We should
we
be
got
underway.
Our ducks in a row?
I think we have our ducks in a row.
Okay, good. That Shadow Fiend pick, though, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that was a little off.
It happened, and for the longest time, people were still in the game, and I was just sitting there thinking, are we continuing with this? No one's disconnected yet. Is this cool?
Alright, here we go. So, welcome everyone to the best of 5 grand finals between NoBroodMama and 9-inch Malez. Up on the dire side, we have 9-inch Malez with Orangi running on the gyrocopter. We have Monster on the Lena, Burden on the Dazzle. We have Persian Prince on the Tusk, and top lane, probably going to the jungle, we have a Leaf on the Enigma.
And on the side of NoBroodMamas, looks like we are going to be having Iraj on that offlane Darkseer, Kengan on the Winter Wyvern, Kisa, the stand-in, is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit, Northern Peru on the carry Bloodseeker, and of course Monster on the Zeus, doing his little Mario hop there. I love it.
God, I really wanted that shirt from TI too. Just sold out. Son of a bitch.
Oh, it looked so fantastic. I'm so sad, but you know what? You never know. Maybe when we get there, there'll be a couple extra in stock, or just grab one in a large and have it be a pajama shirt.
Yeah, I could do that too. So, you know, right off the bat here, we got a little bit of... This might be an engagement here when they go for this rune. It's 4. Oh no, that's 5 on 4. And only the lonely Tusk down here on bottom for that bounty rune. So we could see a little skirmish, and that'd be a great way to kick things off in this best of 5 grand finals.
I would love to see a little bit of a skirmish here. It's amazing because Zeus can just put out so much damage towards the entire enemy team. If Northern Peru were to skill his Thirst first, which he's hanging on to that point, he would just get an exponential amount of damage and speed.
But it looks like they just trail off instead, and Monster's going to get this free pickup of the bounty rune, and Tusk will do the same down on bottom. So the lanes is as follows. We will have the Tusk off lane with Monster running mid Lena, as we predicted before. Enigma just stealing one of the creeps for Lena to win that lane. He'll be going in the jungle. Up top, it will be Burden with Orangi. So it will be a pretty dominant lane against this Darkseer just because of the range. But, you know, Darkseer still does pretty good against any sort of lane with that Iron Shell, and you know, he should be pretty comfortable. What do you think, Vivi?
I agree. I feel like he's not going to be able to deny Orangi too much farm, but he is definitely going to get farm himself. And I don't know, we might see an early mat coming out of him, and they might be going for early pushes. If you're the Darkseer in this case, what would be your first course of action?
I mean, going Guardian Greaves is always so good. If he does get that early mech online along with the Arcane Boots, it's really dominant because, I mean, Darkseer doesn't get that too much really in the early game, and you know, he kind of does only transition mid to late, and if he picks up a quick Guardian Greaves and starts team fighting with the rest of his team on NoBroodMama, then, I mean, that leaves them so tanky and full of mana that they'll be able to, you know, continue a team fight, especially with Burden on this Dazzle. I mean, that's so much sustain and survivability that you need your own survivability to actually win a team fight. So, you know, Guardian Greaves is probably the best thing for Iraj.
Absolutely. Now, we are lacking, I want to say we're lacking a little bit of initiation on the side of NoBroodMamas. Is this a game where the Darkseer might be looking to pick up a Blink and get those clutch vacuum walls off?
You know, Blink always is good for the Darkseer. The vacuum wall is such a great initiation tool if he puts up the wall after that. They still do have the Vengeful Spirit if they want to throw out the swap. That's a little bit of initiation with them, but yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel that 9-inch Malez has a lot of great initiation, so the Blink probably would be a good idea for Iraj to pick up. Right now, Zeus, I don't know, it's sitting a little bit back. I think he should be up harassing this Lena quite a bit here. She's not the tankiest hero to start off, and if she doesn't get a lot of early skills or anything, she can't really farm up that well. You know, he's just going to go back and forth through this rune, but I think this Zeus really needs to be up in her face at this current moment.
he's going to have to be really careful too. Zeus being a hero that really relies on that bottle, and Enigma's going to be contesting that top rune, so if they're not careful, he could easily get caught out trying to catch a rune, and that would be the end of our little Zeus, and mid would start to spiral out of his control.
Yeah, for sure. We actually have a little bit of a rotation, and Keegan actually expending the Arctic Burn, and wanted to go for the Lina, but she sees it and heads back, so this would be 3 on mid for really nothing, and Tusk is sort of doing the same. I don't know if he's waiting for a stack or what, but completely zoned out a lane here, and this is free farm for Northern Peru. That's not what you want to give to a Bloodseeker.
No, absolutely not, and he's just going to back off. I think Zeus is going to suffer a little bit inexperience from this, and if Lina does get her ultimate first, I think it really is a volatile lane. It's whoever can get their ultimate and get the jump off on the other. One of them is going to die.
Yeah, and right now, Lina's getting pretty close to a bottle of her own here, and, you know, Zeus already has his, but that's about it. She's already got a null tally, so going to be doing a little bit more right-click damage and be able to survive through a lot of Zeus's burst.
Absolutely, and you know, I'm really not a big fan of the bottle rush on Zeus that early. Like, I like to get a null talisman and try and get some last hits without using the lightning if it's at all possible. It's only when I'm up against a Viper and OD that I'll just completely sit back there.
It can be pretty rough. Zeus does rely a lot on his mana to actually farm through, but yeah, it's really best to have stats on basically any hero for the survivability as well as just last hitting by yourself. Down on bottom here, Tusk is actually having quite a difficult lane. He does get the bottle, so that will be coming in on him rather shortly here after the courier gets back. But, I mean, Northern Peru really taking control of this lane. He's already 22 and 5, and, you know, he's just going to get even more farm if Tusk really isn't able to do anything against him.
Yeah, and if we look up top, I mean, Gyro has half the farm of the Bloodseeker right now. He's sitting at just barely 14 and 2, so I think if things keep going this way, maybe the Darkseer's just able to zone Orangey out a little bit, or he's been a little more aggressive and helps him get those last hits. Either way,
it's going to be tough. I mean, Gyro will eventually come online. He's already picked up his Ring of Aquila, which is great and all. Eventually, like, if they start stacking camps, but it's Enigma that's really taking control of this jungle here. He's leading last hits here at 32 and 2, and Bloodseeker actually died to a split on bottom, so no extra first blood gold here, but it will be Tusk as well as the Lina rotating in to take him down, and almost took down the Tusk, but it will be Bloodseeker going down just lonely by himself, so it's quick early first blood for them.
And it looks like we have Kingan and Kisa both sitting top. Now Gyro, I think, has scouted this out. They do have that observer ward right here in the river, so they're going to play it pretty safe. Now, do you think that they have the ability to dive this?
Not overly. Dazzle already has that 1 point in Shallow Grave, and it'd be pretty silly of them to jump in on top of that, especially with a Gyro with Rocket Barrage. You don't want to jump in on that. They can turn that around really quick underneath a tower. And like you said, they're probably just going to play it pretty safe here with that Observer Vision. And, I mean, really right now, I think they should just be scouting for this Enigma or blocking out his camps, because they're killing a lot of time here up top, and Werven's just kind of rotating around along with Kisa, and they're not really getting anything done. Still sitting at level 2. And meanwhile, it's kind of I mean, Bloodseeker's getting a lot of free farm, but I mean, these supports are getting levels themselves. Dazzle's almost at level 4 already.
I just wanted to turn your attention to Enigma here, who has popped a smoke, and he does have his black hole now, so he may be looking for an early rotation to get a kill on this Darkseer, and I think the potential is definitely there. Gyro rotating along the back as well.
Yeah, I think Iraj knows something's up and does get vision of the Enigma here and wants to surge out, but black hole already going off. Zeusol does come in the back, but I don't think it's going to be enough here to kind of deter anything, and it will be Iraj going down. And Bloodseeker actually taking down Tusk down on bottom, and Lina running really low, and Bloodseeker's going to chase after her, and it will be the Werven that actually gets the final one with, and that's a 2-for-1 trade here, and you know what, I really don't know who got the better of that one, because Bloodseeker's just really starting to run out of control here. That's even more extra gold for him, and although you do bring down the Darkseer up top, that's 2 kills and a lot of experience down on bottom.
In response to who got the better of it, my answer is definitely Zeus. He stayed mid and farmed the whole time and got 2 assists. It's fantastic.
And Persian Prince actually rotates down on bottom again, and he will be going down for a second time. So as soon as he's up, he TPs in and dies again. And Northern Peru picking up another one. That's 2 kills here for Northern Peru and a lot of farm. Meanwhile, top, they're actually pushing this top T1 rather hard, and Iraj is going to have quite a difficult time against it, but it's difficult. I think they really need to start to rotate down on this Bloodseeker and not focus so much on towers, because he's going to be running away with this one pretty quick. He already has the phase boots, and I think this is going to be drums on. Actually, what do you think? That might be a blade mail, actually. Hey.
I think most likely he's looking to spiral out of control and start diving towers. Now, did the Tusk TP in front of his tower? I did miss that with the camera work.
He actually TP'd in behind and then snowballed in, so sort of a misplay on his part.
Now, let's talk about the ramifications of having an Enigma when you have a Gyrocopter who is very reliant on getting his jungle stacks. He can, of course, still tank Ancients, but I think for the mid-game, being able to take like a triple or a quad stack of the hard camps is really important. And is he being hindered by Enigma being on the team?
Not so much right now. He's pretty comfortable in lane just farming that, but eventually he will need to get in the jungle and get that extra farm. And meanwhile, as we're talking, that will be Bloodseeker going down to the Lina, so great return kill for them. But for this Enigma, I mean, he's going to be having this mech online pretty quick. He already has the headdress, he's already got the chainmail here building into that buckler, so it's really good for the Enigma to get this early farm. Already at level 7, almost on his way to 8. So this will be quite an advantage for him, and that will eventually be a good blink time for him. So you know, give Enigma his time in the jungle, Gyro will eventually come online.
And now, Lina didn't have to expend her Laguna Blade to kill Bloodseeker, so she's still hanging on to that and is probably going to be looking for another kill around the map. I don't know if she's going to be going for the Yule Scepter, but sooner is better than later, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, hanging on to that, she's already got a double damage rune bottled. They might actually want to go on mid here. Zeus hasn't really been engaged yet, so this probably would be the time. She's got to be careful, though. It will be Kisa sitting in the back here. Got a stun online.
And Darkseer did get caught out behind the tier 1 top there. He took quite a bit of damage, but was able to surge away just in the nick of time, and Orangey having to expend a salve.
And both teams here really going for sustain, if you haven't noticed. I mean, Mech coming up for Enigma, and it looks like Bloodseeker's going to be in that route as well. I don't think it's going to be... It's not going to be a shield with this ring of regen, so... A lot of sustain for sure, and a lot of skirmishing going down here on bottom. Tusk actually manages to get off the punch on Northern Peru, but goes down to Peru himself. And Monster's going to be healed up here with a Shallow Grave as well, and I think they're just going to look to disengage, but it will be the Tusk going down. Oh, Laguna Blade goes out on Keegan, but doesn't actually kill him. Does actually manage to get him down with the Dragon Slave, and they'll go after her, so both going down. Oh, the Bloodseeker actually going down to the Lina, and they're going to chase down Kisa. This will be another kill, so that's a 3-for-1 trade. And a great turnaround for Monster there, running super low and manages to wand up and actually turn around and get a double kill. Meanwhile on mid, Zeus almost going down here. Snowball coming in from Tusk. He will bottle up, but this will be a dead Zeus, so finally they knock him down. And a Walrus Punch actually going out on Kangan. But I think they're just going to look to get back here. So great pickoffs coming in. You know, Tusk having a hard lane there, but now he's starting to rotate around and get some kill potential.
I also wanted to point out that the reason Lina lived through that encounter bottom was because Bloodseeker did cast the Blood Rage on her, and so when she killed, I think it was the Winter Wyvern, she got healed up and would have otherwise died to the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. And Gyro running pretty low, but Zeus is still down, doesn't even have Thunder God's Wrath anyway, so he's going to be able to narrowly escape with his alive. And, you know, Raj is doing pretty good there. He's almost got his mech as well. It's been a pretty comfortable lane for him. He's sitting at 50-2 for last hits, and third on the board. Not too bad for him, for sure.
Now Bloodseeker very quickly closing in on this Blade Mail. Does he need anything else before he starts ganking? I mean, some Bloodseekers tend to die very early, but some like to farm up, I've seen all sorts of things. Yules, Chrysalis, BKB would be a big one in this game especially.
Not overly. I mean, if he does eventually get something like that, it's great and all, but with this Blade Mail, he'll be able to dive just safely himself. He hasn't really gone down that much yet. Mainly it's just been small little skirmishes or team fights that eventually he does fall down, but he's done so much damage that this Blade Mail will really help him survive through that. He's already level 9. I think he can really just start taking control of this map, but it will be Lina actually doing a lot of work here, as we saw in that last engagement, picking up that double kill, and yeah, her Yules is going to be coming online rather short here, and that's going to be really key against a Bloodseeker.
Absolutely, and she is sitting top of the last hits on her team, with the exception of the Enigma. I don't really count that as last hits, though, on the tiny little jungle creeps. But Bloodseeker really dominating the last hit board at 75.
Yeah, he's just had so much comfortable time down here on just farming the safe lane, and now he's jumping into the jungle just to kind of continue that. Yeah, Blade Mail coming out right now, so great timing for that, 11:30 in. And, you know, we've been talking about it before. He's going to be ganking a lot more regularly now. And, you know, Tusk is going to be pretty happy about this because he's going to actually get some lane back here. He only has the Bracer to show and the bottle, so hopefully Tusk will be able to come online here pretty quick because his kill potential has been pretty good. He just keeps going down at the start of these team fights.
I was going to say the bracelet in the bottle, that's pretty much what Zeus has here too. Not being able to secure too much outside of his assists globally, but he is farming along, and I think he'll be moving his way towards that drums pretty quickly. Oh yeah, he does have it.
Lots of pings coming out here on top, and they want to find out this Enigma's jungle, because he's starting to, you know, you said he's not getting, you don't really count the farm of the jungle creeps, but 89 last hits here at 12 minutes is pretty darn good for this Enigma. And he has the mech, and he's going to be on his way to a blink here pretty soon.
And that's going to be so key, because I mean they have a little bit of initiation with the snowball, but they need something big to follow up. You know, if NoBroodMamas really want to commit, then they've got the black hole to answer to it.
Thunder God's Wrath going out. Don't really know who it's really for. It is down actually on bottom, and Persian Prince going hard on Northern Peru, and it will be Lina that actually picks up the kill here. Double damage on her, but it will be the Laguna Blade that finishes her off. And Enigma actually rotates in, throws out the mech, and they're going to want to push this tower a little bit farther. It's only Zeus down here by himself, and he's running really low on mana, and they know this. Snowball going out, and they're going to go deep on him, throwing everything they've got. And Zeus tries to turn around a little bit just for a little bit extra survivability. That will be a double kill for Monster. And, you know, this is going to push the tower rather hard. So that's two really good key pickups on their two cores of NBM.
If you're BroodMamas, you just have to sack this tower and try and salvage the situation with as much farm as you can get, because Kisik here, see, he just walked into the jungle, and there's nothing that he can do about it. That Yules is up on Lina, and that's the end of that story.
Yeah, triple kill for Lina, and, you know, just as we were talking about Bloodseeker having such a great time farming down on bottom, they managed to bring him down, and now this is going to be a push for the tower, rotating forward down on bottom for NIM, and Monster really starting to take control of this one with her Null Tally and the Yules Scepter combo here. Not a lot of item, not a lot of gold expended, and she's sitting at 1k and still picking off so many kills. She's sitting at 7-1-1, and you know, that Lina pick up mid, proving to be really, really good against this team for NBM.
Yep, NBM also rotating the Bloodseeker up towards the top, looking for a kill on the gyro, but does get spotted out by this Observer Ward, unfortunately. Same with the Winter Wyvern, so he's going to play it nice and safe and get back, and they're not going to get anything out of it.
Araj does finally have his mechanism, and, you know, he's going to be on Arcane Boots here pretty quick, so eventually he will get his Guardian Greaves. It's going to prove really useful against the team, especially with the burst coming from this Lina so quick. And they're going to start pushing towers of their own. Already taking the T1 down on bottom, so they're going to want to take one up on top, just as sort of a trade.
Absolutely. I think that both teams are quite near to some very big items thresholds, so we're going to see a lot of pushing coming out here in the early of the mid-game.
And just taking a look at the graph right here, I mean, XP really in the way here for 9-inch males, sitting just over 3k, and gold over 3k as well. And he's actually diving deep here. Persian Prince going hard on Kisik, doesn't manage to pick up the kill. Thunder God's Wrath actually being expended, and they will turn around on him. So Persian Prince dives a little too deep, and the rotations come in. He ends up killing himself underneath that T2 tower.
That was unfortunate. I mean, if you're Persian Prince there, he committed with the snowball, and once he was under there, there was nothing else he could do. The TP rotations came out very quickly, and, I mean, at most you can try and draw out the Venge swap, which he did.
3 rotating here in the jungle here, and it will be Dazzle, Lina, as well as the Enigma. And they better look out, because this is a full rotation coming in on Araj. Stun actually lands from Lina, and it will be, yeah, Enigma picking up that kill. And full rotation coming down from bottom. All 4 heroes for NoBroodMama, and they're going deep. Monster running pretty low, and Cold Embrace actually being thrown out. And that would be a dead Lina. And they're going to go hard on a leaf, tries to TP out. Same with Burden. Gets swapped, and that will be a 3 for the Araj.
Oh,
and that's a great pickoff for sure. A lot of rotations coming in, and Monster getting a lot of gold from those kills. And, I mean, they all rotated in, so not a lot of XP, but those are kills that definitely need to be picked up, because Lina was really starting to run out of control with this one.
NIM just did not show the Bloodseeker the respect that he deserves, and he made them suffer for it. And they didn't even need to use the Zeus ult, and they were able to bring down all 3. They do have a deceptive amount of disable once you factor in the Winter's Curse, and I think that was really clutch to winning that little engagement.
Yeah, Northern Peru is actually just going to go back to farming. He has picked up an Ogre Club, so I'm not sure if this is going to be for the Sanj or is it going to be for the BKB. I don't know. I'd say the BKB probably needs to kind of get away from those stuns to be able to survive through a team fight, but he's doing so well already, so that would be probably the best item to pick, don't you think?
The other issue is the Black Hole and Laguna Blade, when she gets her Aghanim Scepter, both go through the BKB. So does, actually, a lot of people don't know this, but Frozen Sigil from Tusk goes right through BKB. So there's a lot of things that if he does get a BKB, it's going to feel wasted in a team fight if they can lock him down. But I do still agree that it needs to happen.
Yeah, it's just those minor stuns that he really needs to get away from, because Bloodseeker can heal himself up rather quick, and I think he'll be okay even with through the Laguna Blade, but they're going to go deep on a Raj here, and they're actually using everything, and it will be Laguna Blade that picks up the kill here for the Lina. That was a lot expended just for the Lonely Bloodseeker, or the Lonely Darkseer, but they will start to push this tower. I don't think they can push it rather hard here. I mean, all ultimates are pretty much up here for NoBroodMama. I think it's best to probably just play it safe, and that's what they're going to do.
Absolutely, especially with the Thunder God's Wrath being up as well. I mean, they do have the black hole, but without the blink on the Enigma, it is difficult to make it work.
Hang on, look at Tusk sitting at pretty healthy 24k gold, or 2400 gold. What's he going for next?
Honestly, I know it's very typical, but I think Shadowblade would benefit him a lot. There's no other Invis on his team that's going to persuade NBM to buy a gem early, and I think that he could really, or even the early Desolator. But both.
I think the Deso would be great for them. I mean, it'd get them a little bit of push, and it'd really dominate against that Bloodseeker as well as the Darkseer, because they're starting to get a little bit of tank, and, you know, a little bit of extra right click for this Gyro to really do anything against them, because, you know, that physical damage coming out from Gyro will eventually come online, and they're going to need something to be able to burst them down, other than just, obviously, Laguna Blade, as we saw in that last team fight. Full rotation coming in on Oranji, and Arctic Burn being suspended. Shallow Grave coming from the Dazzle, and actually Gyro managing to get away, but he probably will be, yeah, he's going to be dead from this blood, right? So that will be just one death, and I think they're just going to retreat after that. Tusk actually coming in from the side. Persian Prince going hard on Northern Peru, but he needs to get back. He's not going to have enough to be able to come back from this one. And Monster just kind of throwing out a quick Light Strike array as well as the Dragon Slave, and I think just more of a deter, really, and I think they're just going to opt to get back here.
I was also going to say, Tusk shouldn't discount the idea of getting a Silver Edge. This Bloodseeker, his thirst is really what gives him his carry potential in team fights.
Tusk going hard again, throws out the snowball and gets off the punch on Northern Peru, but gets healed right up again from the Gold Embrace, and they're going to go right turn back around here on NIM, and they're falling rather low. Wall being expended, so Burden running really low, Lina already getting back too, and she actually gets stunned up here. Laguna Blade going out, getting the kill, but it will be the Bloodseeker that manages to bring down the Lina. And Oranji actually TPing in, manages to bring down the Bloodseeker as well, so there'll be a 2-for-1 trade. And actually, did you see Burden TP away there, running so low, sitting about 10 HP, and manages to get away with that Shallow Grave. Great play by him.
I was really surprised that nobody had any kind of disable for him. Maybe between the Vacuum, the Lightning Bolt, the Swap, the Magic Missile, they have so many ways to lock him down, but I guess there's just nothing left, and he was able to escape in just the nick of time.
Enigma not wanting to spend that black hole just yet. He's sitting about 1k away from that Blink Dagger, so wants to hold it on for a better team fight. And I mean, they managed to bring down the Bloodseeker, which is great and all, but the Lina going down is going to be a little bit costly for her. She does have the point booster. She's on her way to getting that Aghanim Scepter, which is going to be proving really useful against this team. That will really shut down any of them right now.
I feel like a lot of people would disagree with this, but she really needs to pick up her treads. She needs that extra bit of attack speed in team fights, and the tankiness is so important.
Pinging out Kangan down here. I think they know the ward went up. They have both the wards here in down in the Radiant Jungle, so they're just going back to the farm game, it looks like. And Alif sitting on the Enigma. He wants that Blink Dagger right away here, and he's really taking over this jungle. And a couple places warded out here. And I mean, you'd expect some sort of gank coming out from both teams just because they don't want either team to have their core farming, but I mean, both of them kind of need to sit back. It's been a bit of a struggle for both really getting any sort of good engagement. They've picked up 1 or 2 kills, but it's kind of been all over the place, and it's actually going to be NIM rotating all top to want to take down this T1 tower.
Now, you were right about this Bloodseeker. He has picked up the Overcloak, so it looks like he is going to be going for an early BKB, and I think that's really going to help him fighting in the mid-game. As long as he doesn't get stuck in the black hole, he's pretty much going to run around in team fights uncontested. That's very dangerous for NIM.
Yeah, and he's getting pretty close to it here, sitting at 900 gold, so it's only about 475 away. And, you know, sitting at level 13, he's quite ahead of the pack here. Basically everybody on NIM, other than Lina, is really underneath him, so you can start to snowball this one, and with the Blade Mail and the BKB combo, that's a lot of damage and survivability coming out, and he'll be able to heal up and keep diving them.
Now, Tusk has actually proven both of us wrong. He picks up the Solar Crest here, which I think is almost as good as the Deso. You get even more armor reduction, and being able to buff up your carry is really underrated, especially on Orangey. You know, we were talking about how they need a tank, because he goes in the front lines, and he's, you know, hitting his flat cannon and his call down. It's it's what he needs.
Yeah, we were talking about it before, and I said, you know, Tusk is usually one that you see in that core, semi-core kind of position, and, you know, he's really playing the more of a support role, and it's been working out for him a little bit, but he just had such a hard lane down on bottom that I think it's just a response or reaction to that, because he's just not able to get that much farm. He's still sitting at only 56 last hits. We're 22 minutes in. I think Soul Crest is a great item to pick up, really for anybody, just because it is so good to tank up anybody or take down another carry, but I mean, he's just had such a struggle down on that bottom lane that he's had to transition into the semi-core role, and it's going to be difficult for him to kind of come back into this game unless his team fight really excels with the rest of his team, as with this Gyro and the Enigma.
Now, Zeus, this is a little bit different for me. I'm seeing the Boots of Travel on him. He's picked up the Helm of the Iron Will, so he's definitely going for an early Veil of Discord, which is strange because most of his lineup is focused around physical damage between the Dark Seer, the Bloodseeker, and the armor reduction from the Venge, so he's really only getting this for himself.
Full smoke going out here, and they actually spend the Thunder God's Wrath, so they know they're going for the Rosh Pit while going out, hitting on 2, as well as the Wyvern ultimate. And Tusk wanted to snowball right back in, but it will be Enigma getting off a beautiful black hole in the Wyvern. And both teams running really low. It will be the Enigma that actually falls first, and Kangan, Cold Embrace, keeping him alive, and they manage to bring down the Tusk. And they're going to narrowly escape with all of them still up. Kangan running super low there, but manages to expel basically everything he had and survives through this one. They're going to be able to take this Rosh. That's a 3-0. Great team fight here for NoBroodMama, and that's going to be a Rosh pickup.
You know, you were saying earlier how NIM is just lacking damage in this lineup, and I think that's really being displayed here because as soon as the Darkseer mech came out, it was like they had burned through everything they had. They didn't have anything left to really take down that Bloodseeker.
Yeah, it's exactly what we were talking about. I mean, Lina, of course, great burst, but apart from that, you're really relying on this Gyro to kind of come into the game, and he wasn't really even aware of what a team fight was going on. Threw down the call down, and that was it, right? So that's basically all he has.
He hasn't been having the best game in general. I mean, he's got a Sage and a band of Elven Skin. That's pretty much it. And so until he can maybe get a Daedalus or something to really help his flat cannon take off, yeah, they're not going to have any follow-up damage besides the call down.
Yeah, he does manage to finish off the Sanjanyasha, which is great for him, but as Vivi was saying, it's still so difficult for him. It's just not enough damage yet, and until he gets some more items online. Gyro's that carry that really needs the items. I mean, his spells are great on their own, but they just lack the damage that they really need right now. So until he gets something to really bring down with that flat cannon, it's going to be difficult for them. And I think NoBroodMama's, they can start to rotate in the jungle here. They just have so much survivability already with that. With the Greaves almost coming out for the Darkseer. Even with Mech right now, it's enough for them. And Northern Peru just being able to survive through anything. And now that he has the Aegis, they're just going to push this mid tower and, you know, feel pretty free doing it.
Oh, the TP gets
they do manage to get him.
Second.
Oh, that was a great lightning bolt just before he TP's out here, and expends the Thunder God's Wrath as well, but you know, I think it's worth it. It really deters up top, and it's going to take him a little bit longer to take this T1 down top, and they pick up a tower themselves and get the kill, so great use by Zeus here, and they're actually going to rotate top, and they don't bring down the tower just yet, and Wyvern does manage to pick off the deny, so great turn of events here for NoBroodMama, and you know, they're doing quite well here. The golden XP completely in the other way now. 7,500 here for NoBroodMama in XP, as well as about 6k gold lead, and you know, it's really starting to show with these team fights.
Yeah, I think that NIM really have to go into damage control mode here. Whoever's pushing out bottom lane, be it the Lina a minute ago or the Enigma now, needs to be stacking those Ancients, because if Gyro doesn't get a core damage item online soon, they're going to have a really tough time when NBM starts to siege their base.
Yeah, and Zeus finishes off the Veil of Discord, so that's even more magic damage coming. And, you know, they're really holding on to Orange here on the Gyrocopter to farm as much as possible, but they're kind of being zoned out here. And, you know, the rest of the team for NIM really wants to get in the jungle and farm up items of their own, but they really need to start stacking and give it to Orange. They need this carry to come online.
Yeah, the Sanjanyasha isn't enough, and he doesn't even have a BKB, so it's not even like he can last long enough in fights to get all of his flat cannon off. It's one or the other, at least. I'd say go for a BKB or get the Daedalus right away and just see what you can do in the glass cannon department.
I mean, and it's really showing. Take a look at net worth right now. Bloodseeker at 11k, Zeus at the 9,300 mark. It's only Lina that's really doing anything for the team. Gyro's all the way at 8,300. And, I mean, if this is going to be a carry versus carry game, if we want to look at it that way, Bloodseeker's way far ahead against this Gyro, and I mean Gyro's having such a hard time farming as we've been talking about that he's not going to be able to come back if his team doesn't start sacking camps for him.
Now Lena has just picked up her BKB, so I think they're going to be looking for a fight pretty soon. And yeah, Gyrocopter is working on the same thing. It looks like already picked up the Ogre Club, so he's got a little bit more tankiness, but it's going to be very interesting to see if they can hold it off. Probably going to happen at the tier 1 bottom. Yeah,
they're pinging it out. I think they want to defend, and you know what? NoBroodMama is sitting pretty comfortable here. They're just kind of farming lanes, pushing things out. I mean, they don't want to give too much room to this Gyro or Lena to be able to farm things up, but I think they've done a pretty good job so far. They've cleaned up some of the lanes, they've cleaned up the jungle quite a bit, and they've given so much time to this Bloodseeker. And, you know, he's sitting pretty close to a Sandra Inuyasha for himself. Still has the Aegis online. That's going to be expiring right away here. And, you know, they could look to get a team fight before it expires too long.
Now, Enigma, he's picked up his Blink, he's picked up his mech. What is next on his platter? He's sitting on almost 1,200 gold, and I think he's working towards something big. Is this an Aghanim Scepter? Does he try and go for the Refresher straight up? So many options.
I mean, Refresher's still your best option as Enigma. That double black hole just proves to be so useful, especially in like against any BKB or anything, it still goes through. That being said, I mean, if you really want to, you can go for Octarine Core. That would really be probably pretty big on Enigma. He could push through anything with Demonic Conversion. He'd get an extra stun for the Malefice. And I mean, Black Hole comes online pretty quick once he gets that Octarine Core. But I still feel Refresher is probably his best thing.
Absolutely, I would agree. And it looks like they're trying to trade towers here, I guess. And I know that they can't take a fight, so the best thing they can do is get a little bit of gold before the next one.
And Aegis reclaimed, so we'll be Rosh respawning in about 3 minutes here, and you know, NoBroodMama's still feeling pretty comfortable even though the Aegis has expired, and they're going to start pushing on this T3 maybe. Now it looks like they're going to get back instead, but that will be a T2, and no real great pickup here for 9-inch males. They do manage to bring down the tower down to half, but other than that, they're just going back to farming, and it's difficult to say because they really do need this Gyro to kind of farm and get back online, but they need to take some sort of map control because I mean, NoBroodMama is really going to start taking control of their own. Smoke going out, and they're going to all TP away. And I don't think there's going to be any sort of engagement. They're not going to find anybody because they're all in the jungle. But Rosh will be coming back up here in probably about 2 minutes.
NoBroodMamas are just looking at so many big items coming online soon. Looks like Zeus is working on his Aghanim Scepter now, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Darkseer is only about 800 off of his Shivas, which is just going to be gigantic, especially if Gyro's trying to get off lots of flat cannon hits. That attack speed slow is going to be brutal.
Yeah, lots of items coming here from NoBroodMama. I mean, no doubt, they've been kind of controlling this whole thing. I mean, looks like there is a huge engagement down here on bottom. Lena actually picking off the Venge, Tusk getting the Wyvern, and it will be Enigma bringing down the Bloodseeker. So that's a 3 for nil. Great trade there.
Yeah, he did have to expend the Black Hole for it, but he caught it on 2, and it was really well positioned. I think this is the kind of thing that they need to do to ensure their comeback. They've bought time, if nothing else.
Yeah, completely worth it, and that's a lot of XP and gold going the way here for this Gyro, and that's exactly what he needs. But it would be the Lena that picks up most of that, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and she is like just neck and neck in net worth right now with the Darkseer, so is catching up. And I mean, Darkseer being a hero that could just farm endlessly and really fast for a non-carry hero.
And this is where it proves that Bloodseeker, I mean, he's so annoying and such a great snowbally hero. Really takes control of a pub game as well as a captain's mode game, obviously. But, I mean, he's sitting at level 16, quite comfortable. But even with that BKB, can't survive through that black hole. And really brought him down quick, especially with that Laguna Blade coming out. That once that hits pure damage, it's going to be pretty destructible. I mean, Bloodseeker's not really going to have much of a choice to kind of be able to stand and go through any team fight as he did in the early game. He's really going to have a tough time against this team fight.
Now, there is a Glimmer Cape, I think, underway from the Winter Wyvern, so he will be able to pop that on the Bloodseeker and protect him if he does get caught in the black hole, but I think the best solution is for him to just tank up. He's already got the Orb of Venom, and I think Scotty's going to be on his menu soon.
Yeah, the thing that Kangan really needs to do, I mean, yeah, he's going to pick up that Glimmer Cape, but if he stands in the back, throws out the Winter's Curse on that Enigma, that is going to screw up any sort of team fight that 9-inch Malez is going to have. If he's able to get that off in the Enigma, they're all going to turn to him. That's no black hole anymore, and that changes the team fight drastically. So Glimmer Cape actually coming online now, and you know, if they want to look to a team fight, I still feel that NoBroodMama has most of the team fight here, even with the black hole coming online. They're still pretty destructive at this point in the game. It's only 30 minutes in, and I mean, scores are pretty tight, but I still feel NoBroodMama really taking control of this game.
Yeah, we do see the XP dripping back towards the 0 mark, and net worth not the lead that it used to be for NBM, but I agree, they are taking control of this mid-game. You can just see the map control, and I think any fights that break out soon, if they don't have the black hole on NIM, which, you know, there's 45 seconds, they're going to have a really tough time.
And they're going to start pushing hard here on this tier 2, and I mean, why not? They know that this Enigma is all the way down on bottom. It does have the TB to come back, but black hole is still down for another 30 seconds, and if they're keeping tabs on that, that's going to be a 4v1 really. And you know, Gyro's still not having enough damage. Throws out the call down only on Northern Peru, gets it hit on once, and that's already used. Bloodseeker tossing out the Rupture rather on the gyrocopter, and you know that's going to deter him to come in any sort of team fight. And they're both playing this rather safe. I thought they were going to be able to get the jump on him there. Yeah, it's nothing really deep going out here. And meanwhile, Enigma's pushing this tower on bottom really hard. It's already fallen well under. I mean, it's only got a 76 HP, and it does actually manage to go down. It will be the Eidolons that pick it up, so a lot of extra gold. Meanwhile, in mid, huge team fight going out, wall being expended, as well as every BKB. Shallow Grave going out on the gyro, so he's able to deal even more damage. Monster falling really low to Northern Peru, and Enigma jumps out, get a double black hole. Huge black hole in him, but doesn't actually manage to pick off anybody. Kisa still staying up. Kangan healing up himself in the Cold Embrace, and that's a triple kill for the Bloodseeker. A full team wipe here for NoBroodMama, and they're just going to look to push off of this, and that's a huge engagement, even with the black hole.
Oh, Kangan fell to the Midnight Pulse. Unfortunately, he just couldn't get out of it in time, and the panic clicking started.
So it will be a team wipe for one, but that's going to be another tower, and they're going to even look to push Rax. Buyback really only on the Lina. I mean, it is on the Dazzle as well as the Enigma, but that's not enough to deter. They've already used the black hole, and that's down for another 150 seconds. And Buyback going out on the Enigma, but this should be a tower here for NoBroodMama, and that's could well be a set of Rax.
Oh, this is easy Rax, easy life for sure. This is exactly what we were saying was going to happen. You saw that, like, you know, it was a really good black hole that A-Life was able to get off, but there was just no damage to follow it up. With that BKB built on Gyrocopter, there's no room left for any glass cannon.
Yeah, I've seen Kangan on the Winter Wyvern run so low so many times, but that Cold Embrace completely saving him last minute, and it totally did there. Kisa able to get out as well. She was running rather low, and you know, only trading the Winter Wyvern at the end there just because of that Midnight Pulse. That's a beautiful trade for them, and they're sitting pretty comfortable. Rax now gone on mid, and complete swing in the other direction. Now we have a 10k gold lead here for NoBroodMama, and yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to kind of come back from this one, and it will be Northern Peru picking up a Reaver, so he's tanking up even more.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a hard. He's probably not going to be going for the Satanic, and they're not going to be able to take him out in team fights. This is perfect timing with Alina getting very close to her Ags too, because I was just thinking, oh, you know, maybe she gets her Ags. Level 3 ult, she gets it off on the Bloodseeker, that's over half his health, but not if he picks up a heart. No, sir.
Yeah, and they're just going to go back to farming. Raj now does have the Guardian Greaves as well as the Shiva's Guard. And that's huge. I mean, he's so tanky. Look at the armor that he has. There's 33 armor here on the Raj. And, you know, that's so much survivability for him. They're going to look to go into this Rosh. And Northern Peru is going to make a slot for him, dropping that over Venom. And that's going to be really difficult to bring down this Bloodseeker. With so much sustain coming up from his team, not only that, but his healing himself from the Blood Rage. It's just going to be too strong. And with a Lena Rax already down, it's going to be proving pretty difficult for NIM to come back in this one. And Prince has the Blink Dagger, so he's going to be able to get out just fine. But it's whatever they want right now here for NoBroodMama. Whatever lane they want to push, they can take it. There's not a lot of comeback here for NIM, just with Gyro not having enough farm quite yet.
Absolutely, and with, you know, one lane of Rax already pushing in the middle, they've got constant pressure. You're right, they can pick top and go for that tier 2 they want, or they can straight up rush the bottom Rax, but either way, I think this is now NBM's game to lose.
Yeah, and Northern Peru actually picks up a double damage in. He's going to go pick off some Eidolons just for a little extra food, a little extra gold for him, and he's on his way to that heart pretty soon here. Yeah, he's already picked up the recipe now, so he's, what, 400 gold shy of picking up that Vitality booster, and that's going to be a really tanky Bloodseeker. Even harder to bring him down, not only with the BKB and the Aegis.
they're going to be looking to fight right after he gets that heart, before Orangey has a chance to get any kind of damage at him. And I think it will be the Crystallis that he's going for next, but I guess what remains to be seen.
This Gyro, just great pickup, not able to get enough done. Just not able to farm enough. He's sitting at 219 last hits, which is great and all, but really just BKB and Sandranyasha not going to be enough to go up against this kind of team. It's huge. I don't even know what to call it. It's global presence, it's survivability, it's tankability. There's not that much initiation other than swap or the Winter's Curse, but I mean, it's been really useful for them. Not a lot of kills actually in this match, surprisingly.
No. Unfortunately, it's averaging about 1 kill per minute on both sides, but there's 2 Glimmer Capes up on NBM now, and NIM don't have any reveal, so unless they fight under tower, it's going to be some free invis for that Bloodseeker.
Bloodseeker with that Iron Shell, just so tanky. And Heart of Tarrasque finally finished for him, and you know, he's just started charging up there on that T3 tower, and they couldn't do anything on him. Throws out the missile just to deter him for a moment, but I mean, as soon as this creep wave comes in again, they're going to keep doing the same thing, and this will just be chip damage on the T3 tower. And there's literally nothing they can do against it. Lena's going to have to expend basically everything to kill that Bloodseeker. And although she does have that Aghanim Scepter, that's basically all she can blow, and that's it. And Veil of Discord hitting on 2 of their cores, and they got to watch out for that Zeus.
Yeah, he's going to be dishing out a lot of damage, having completed his Aghanim Scepter now, and he's got the level 3 ultimate. That is 640 magic damage, and you can pretty much use the Veil to eliminate all resistance.
And it's kind of a stalemate right now, but with this mid-racks already taken down, it's really hard for NIM to kind of do any sort of work here. They're really just waiting for any sort of team fight, and now it's going to begin, and it'll be a dominating streak for Zeus right there, killing out the Gyrocopter, and Lena just wanting to TP away with the BKB too. Persian Prince falling pretty low. Black Hole actually going out huge, but gets swapped by Kisa on the back, and Northern Peru's just going to go ham here, throwing out everything he's got, and doing so much damage with that Blood Rage up. Light Strike Array hitting once on him, still has the Aegis, and it will go down to the Laguna Blade, but that's all she has. And they're actually turning this around not too bad. Persian Prince actually going hard on Kisa, but he's being brought down by Araj. The survivability from him is just far too much to handle, and it's going to be the Ion Shell that might actually pick him off. No, it will be Northern Peru that rotates around and manages to pick off the kill. And Shallow Grave going out on Monster just for the save here, and they're just forced right back to Fountain. Nobody's still going down here on NoBroodMama, and I don't know what else to say. This one's basically done. I mean, long team fights, not a lot of kills, but they're healed right back up pretty much. Monster running a little low, but I mean, this will be a Rax, and Northern Peru still sitting really tanky here with that Heart of Tarrasque. And Yule's going out, Light Strike Array as well, manages to dodge it. And they're just going to start to keep on picking damage on this. Araj gets off a huge vacuum here on 2. Burden running really low. Lena also running really low. Wants to TP out but can't. She manages to go down. Burden manages to escape with a TP. And Northern Peru, BKB up. Goes wicked sick here with a triple kill. And that's going to be GG here for NoBroodMama.
That was just... it was death after death at the end, unfortunately. There's nothing that they could do to handle the sustain from the Bloodseeker. You know, between the heart and having his Blood Rage, he was just getting pick-off after pick-off, especially with the Shallow Grave being able to keep heroes at pretty much 1 HP. That gives him so much speed and damage, and he had all the freedom in the world to take on whoever he wanted at the end there. Yeah,
completely destructive there. It's just panned out to be such a great game for Bloodseeker. Just so much survivability from him, and really kind of had a free lane down on bottom, and for the rest of the game he was sitting pretty comfortable. So it will be game 1 here in this best of 5 series of the grand finals of the UGC League Season 4 Western Invite, going to NoBroodMama for the first game. Stick around and we'll be in game 2 rather shortly.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pit.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for the best of 5 grand finals of the UGC League Season 4 Western Invite between NoBroodMama and 9-inch Malez. Game 1, you know, not a bad game at all. A little bit of action here and there. Ended up being a couple of great team fights, and pretty much at the end, NoBroodMama really taking control of that. What do you think of that first game here in that best of 5 series, Vivi?
I think that everybody played it very well. I think it really came down to the draft. You know, there wasn't a lot of damage coming out from 9-inch Malez. They had the gyrocopter, but there just wasn't enough time to let him get some damage items up to follow up the black hole before NoBroodMama was pretty much knocking on their door and saying, well, you know, it's do or die now. So they lost racks after racks, and soon it was just game. They could not keep up with the sustain of the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, and it's going to be great to see what kind of lineup we have in store this time. I mean, going to be a little bit of switch up already that we see from the first couple picks, and I mean, why not? 9-inch Malez didn't really get all they wanted out of that gyrocopter, so they, you know, they like to pick up the Tusk again, but they want to switch things up and go for that little bit more damage, which is exactly what they needed last time, and they do manage to pick up the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, and the gyrocopter for NoBroodMama is obviously a very good first pick. It doesn't reveal a lot about your strategy. I mean, you don't even have to run them as your position 1 core. You can run them in a dual off lane, so it's going to be up to the next couple of picks to really decide where this draft is headed. I like the Shadow Fiend pickup right away. I think that, you know, if you can get a Butterfly, it does force the gyrocopter into building that MKB. Otherwise, it's just not going to hit you with its flat cannon. And you have a lot of damage to be able to take him out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, as I said before, with these lineups, and Bloodseeker being banned out here. Bounty, interestingly enough, I don't think I've seen a Bounty pick from NoBroodMama before, so I don't know if that's just a normal ban or a respect ban. I'm pretty sure it's just a ban that 9-inch Malez hates playing against the Bounty, and it will be a Spirit Breaker being picked up from NoBroodMama. So right away here, we see a little bit of a troll kind of lineup coming from the Missile of Gyrocopter, as well as the Charge, obviously, from the Spirit Breaker.
I think that the Bounty ban could be specific if 9-inch Malez is looking to pick up a jungler, because of course we know Bounty is able to sit and Viz right beside that in jungler, soak up their experience, and then last hit their creeps. Just the most annoying thing to deal with. So, you know, we could be seeing an Enigma come out, or I don't know, a Jungle Legion commander. Who jungles these days?
It's God, not really anybody.
It's something that we're not actually seeing in this meta. I mean, how do you feel about that? I feel like jungling is almost an essential part of Dota. I've always loved playing junglers way back in Dota 1. No one would contest you back then.
With the change up of the creeps and everything over the last several patches and whatnot, it's been a lot harder for anybody to really start in the jungle, other than like heroes, obviously like Enigma in the last game, that have that sort of protection so they don't fall so quick while they can still take down creeps, right? And I mean, I'm drawing blanks here on who else can really jungle that well. I mean, any hero can really jungle eventually, but right starting from the get-go in the jungle, Bloodseeker can, but it's not really that great for him. Wraith King, I suppose, too, but
Chen,
yeah, you just
Enchantress.
don't see it. Chen Enchantress, yeah, okay, there we go. So more supporty stuff, but yeah, I mean, you just don't see it as much anymore. I used to love running like a Doom in the jungle or whatever, but it's just a lot harder for them nowadays to actually, you know, compete well in the early stages of the game for that and kind of progress, because most teams are actually a lot better now than they used to be. I mean, knowledge of Dota has gone up so much in the last couple of years that I've noticed that people know to, you know, throw up the wards or small things like denying creeps and stuff. I mean, it's all gotten a lot harder for everybody to kind of join in on Dota, and for heroes like that want to jump into the jungle scene and be able to excel well, it's so much more difficult for them to kind of get that free farm in a jungle scene that we've seen before. So really, yeah, you're gonna see those kind of supports kind of dominate the jungle for the rest of this patch anyway. That's all I see.
I think, especially with the advent of 6.84, it's very imperative that you have strong lanes, because snowballing is such a big factor with so many games. If you have a solo and a dual lane, you're leaving yourself open to a really good aggressive try, or even just 2-1-2 and your offlane gets dominated. You know, you can't afford to lose that hero to the jungle often.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, when you take control of a lane, you take control of a lot of the game. That's a lot of gold taken, that's a lot of XP taken, and just the map control in general. I mean, if you can take over somebody's jungle by just taking out a tier 1 tower, or take down the mid lane so you can start rotating in for ganks, it completely changes the game, especially in this patch, which we've seen a lot of early kill potential going on. I mean, even with the international going on right now, I mean, kills are going through the charts here in the early game, and even seeing that in the professional or amateur matches. I mean, UGC, I've seen a lot of teamfight potential coming out from a lot of these kind of drafts, and although last game we didn't see too many kills, those drafts being picked up, like Bloodseeker for one, is a prime example that, I mean, teams know, get the kills, get the lanes, get the dominance really early on, and you'll be able to win a game.
10 seconds remaining.
So with the pickup of the Witch Doctor on 9-inch males, it's going to be interesting if NoBroodMama decide they want to dedicate a pick to countering that Witch Doctor, whether it be the Vengeful Spirit, the Earthshaker, or the Silencer, all very good at ending that ultimate almost immediately after it begins. But oftentimes for support, you know, it's almost not worth wasting the pick and changing your whole strategy, but Witch Doctor is a little bit of an exception, being able to put out so much damage.
Radiant team.
Yeah, especially it's the physical damage, right? In combination with that Shadow Fiend, that's a lot of minus armor on top of heroes, especially like a Gyrocopter, that really aren't that tanky to begin with. So any sort of minus armor is really going to shut him down. Spirit Breaker also gets rather tanky, so it's a great pickoff. You do get the stun. I mean, it's really just the ultimate that I'm looking at right now, obviously with the Death Ward in combination, but I mean, yeah, as you said, Witch Doctor is just a great hero in general. You can't really go wrong with picking that. And it will be Treant Protector as their other support, so there's even more survivability in that. You know, I've seen it before where the Treant in combination with a squishy mid such as Shadow Fiend is really dominant, because Shadow Fiend, as soon as he gets some stacks up for his souls, he'll be able to heal up from anywhere on the map with that living armor, and it's really hard to bring him down.
I was actually just going to say that 9-inch males do need something to set up the Death Ward as well. You know, I've seen Tidehunter as a classic example picked up. You know, you jump in, you stun, you get off a nice Death Ward and kill the entire team. But yeah, Treant Protector is a really good answer to that without having to sacrifice another one of their cores.
Now, what do you think their hard carry is going to be? Because this, I mean, last time they sent the Tusk solo, but didn't really pan out for him so well, and he didn't really have a choice of going core or support. He was kind of in the midst of it. Do you think they're going to do that again and, you know, get a hard carry for, what are they on rated? They're going to go bottom lane here with the Witch Doctor and Treant? What do you think is going to be the pickup?
They can't afford to have something that's super late. They need something that can fight early, because if you look at their lineup, Shadow Fiend is quite squishy until he gets either a mech online or starts picking up his BKB Scotty, that kind of thing. Witch Doctor, not the best fighter if there's not a lot of people in front of him. Treant Protector, almost utterly useless in fights without his ultimate, especially early game. And Tusk, yeah, he's good, but they need something like, they could go with a safe lane farming Storm Spirit or Quap. They could go with the Ember Spirit as well. Too bad the Bloodseeker's gone, because that would be a perfect choice, but definitely something that has a little bit more early game presence. Baseless Void, another good one.
Yeah, I mean, Void would be a great setup with the Witch Doctor, as well as the Shadow Fiend too. Really interesting. I have no idea what their carry is going to be on this one. Just a lot of... Yeah, it's a complete troll lineup coming here from NoBroodMama. Gyro is not so much the troll, but the Spirit Breaker and Undying is going to be such a big annoyance here to 9-inch males that, I mean, they already had the Bloodseeker Zeus combo early on, and Bloodseeker did really well. I can't wait to see what's in store with his Undying and Spirit Breaker, because that's a lot of kill potential, being able to charge in, throw down a Tombstone, and continue on with that, because, I mean, chances are you're going to see a lane with those two together. Batrider might go mid here, and then the Gyro will just need another protecting support here to be able to go top.
I think 9-inch males do have pretty weak laning at this point. Witch Doctor not having much of a nuke, nor Treant Protector. Yeah, sure, there is some sustain there, but unless the cores can put out a lot of damage, they're going to have some issues. I think maybe an Ursa would do well with them. He'd benefit a lot from the healing, and, you know, with the stun and the slow from the Witch Doctor and Treant Protector, Ursa would be able to get off some Fury Swipes and maybe do some damage. He's also
the only thing with
innately
Ursa is
tanky.
you can just kite him so well. And, I mean, that's a lot of kite that Gyro's obviously ranged. Undying throwing down a tombstone completely screws him up and can't blink in or do anything. So, I mean, Ursa's great to get the Fury Swipes on, but I don't know. They just need some... I don't know what to even call it here. Weaver's a great ban from NoBroodMama. That would have worked well with them, with that minus armor stacking on top, too. But it's something like Gyrocopter that they're missing, but I can't really figure out what they need. But it definitely is some sort of hard carry that they need to come online, at least in the mid game, because even though they have the damage coming from the Shadow Fiend, they're lacking any sort of, you know, great dominance in a team fight. As soon as Tusk throws out the snowball, that's really the only big stun initiation that they have.
My next thoughts in terms of the laning phase would be a Huskar, but there's just not enough magic damage. NoBroodMama is so focused on physical that they need like a physical equivalent for Huskar. Maybe a Clinks. Clinks could be a good pick.
Yeah, I could see a Clinks coming out. It gives them a little bit more range that they need as well.
It does, and the invisibility breaks the zombies on the tombstone. So, you know, if he gets caught in a team fight underneath a tombstone, gets too many zombies piled up on top of him, just skeleton walk and he can just walk away from it.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit extra push, strafe on the tombstone to take it down really quick. Clinks is definitely not a bad idea here.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know, these last picks are going to be difficult to kind of call out here. Even with NoBroodMama, they need that support anti-mage. Now there's a carry. I mean, that's mobility, but that's so late game, and I just feel like there's so much troll coming out from NoBroodMama that an anti-mage can get stomped so quick here, especially, you know that anti-mage is going to be farming safe lane, and even though he's going to have protection from Treant as well as Witch, Undying Spiritbreaker is going to be so strong and annoying against him. I mean, you throw a couple of stacks of decay on an anti-mage, he's squishy enough already. He's going to be at, what, like 300 health, not even?
And this actually leaves Tusk solo in the offlane, and I think Gyrocopter can actually take Tusk solo pretty well, leaving NoBroodMama free to do an aggressive tri-lane if they were to so choose, and that would really ruin this anti-mage's.
And it will be Viper being picked up from NoBroodMama, so that's even more dots and a lot more sustain. And interesting lanes.
It's
interesting
just so
lanes.
Tanky. NoBroodMama.
I don't know who's really supporting
die.
other than the Undying support, and who?
Batrider. Batrider used to be like a core offlane, but actually, you know what? Kisa played the Vengeful Spirit last game, so maybe we are going to see a Spiritbreaker support as well, but 2 melee supports is a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the Batrider going jungle if Viper wanted to go mid, but I don't know about that. Interesting.
It's hard to from level 1. You need both levels.
Yeah. Really interesting. I mean, complete change from the last game with these heroes. Alright, I'll lead out with NoBroodMama this time. Sitting on the Dire, we have Northern Peru running on the Gyrocopter. We have Monster on the Batrider. Raj running the Viper. Kisa on the Spiritbreaker. And Kangan on the Undying.
And on the side of 9-inch males, it looks like we're going to have another Monster on the Shadow Fiend. He might be going for the safe lane here. Burden is going to be supporting him on the Witch Doctor. We do have a life on the Treant Protector. Orangey, who may be going solo off lane on that anti-mage. That's going to be very interesting to see. And then, of course, we have Persian Prince on the Tusk. Did he play Tusk last game?
I think so. I believe so.
I want to say he did. It looks like we are going to have a little bit of a skirmish down here. NBM just rotating 4 heroes down, probably trying to get a pick off and maybe get some wards out in the jungle. And Kisa is really charging in there. He will cancel it, though.
And with that charge being expended, he doesn't have a lot of mana left. He's going to have one more charge coming in here pretty quick, but other than that, they're just going to be deep here in the jungle. They do spot out Persian Prince here on the Tusk. But I think this might just be a free rune for them. I don't think they really want to go deep here. We have full 4 heroes here for NIM down on bottom with Orangey just sitting on top and not actually even going for this rune. That would have been a free rune if he set up top, and it's pretty key on an anti-mage being so squishy. He needs that quick early bounty, but instead it will be Batrider picking up the first one, and up top, Northern Peru should be able to get in the second one. So that's 2 free bounty runes here for NoBroodMama.
Oh wow, this is a throwback here. It looks like we're going to be seeing a Batrider mid. I haven't seen this since like 6.79.
It's been a while. I mean, Batrider has not been strong at all in these kind of patches, and yeah, it's going to be difficult against Monster on the Shadow Fiend. It will be Monster versus Monster here on mid. Interesting.
I don't know. Actually, this could work out really well because Shadow Fiend really does rely on having a nice turn point, especially since his raises have to be directly in front of a monster. If he gets enough stacks of his sticky napalm up, he can pretty much just dodge side to side and avoid the raises.
That's true. That is very true.
It looks like he's going to be dying top here to the anti-mage. Witch Doctor did get a very nice stun off there, but there's a bit of a re-engage here.
Great decay coming out from King and getting on the triple, but he's going to have to get back anyway. And Northern Peru sitting under half health and missed that first blood here, but great for Anti-Mage getting that first early kill on, and that's exactly what he needs. And I don't know about this tri-lane. I mean, you need it for the Anti-Mage to farm, but he's going to be lacking a lot of levels. Meanwhile, it will be Viper getting the most out of this bottom lane, really harassing out this Persian Prince on the Tusk, and I don't see Tusk getting a lot of this lane at all.
No, I gotta say, I have to give lane advantage to BroodMama's on, I'd say, almost every single lane. I mean, despite the fact that they did get the first blood on top on the side of 9-inch males, there's just, they don't have a lot to contest this Undying and Spirit Breaker.
And Kingan's just going to keep going hard at him. Throws up the decay again. Coconut coming out from Burden in the back. Spirit Breaker charging in on that Witch Doctor as well, and it will be Witch Doctor taking down the Gyrocopter first. And a Leaf running pretty low here to Kangan, but you know what? Kisa will be going down here. That's a double kill for the Witch Doctor. And a Leaf is going to narrowly escape with his life, throwing out the living armor. And that's,
you know, I just got to eat my words.
I
this looked like such a weak tri-lane, especially the Spirit Breaker Undying, such an annoying combo of heroes to go up against, but they're really playing this well.
Great deny there for Treant Protector. He knew he couldn't get out with probably falling, so does deny himself to the neutral creeps. So still, just a 2-for-0 trade. Yeah, eating our words for sure. I mean, it's very dominant to have a Spirit Breaker and an Undying in a lane, but Anti-Mage doing quite well, actually. I don't see him getting a lot of last hits, still sitting at only 2-0. But, you know, give him a little bit of gold for the kill potential, and as well as the XP. He's already sitting at level 3, doing quite well.
I feel as though part of the issue in this top lane is that BroodMama's didn't wait until Kengan had enough decay stacks up on 9-inch males. They still were a little bit too tanky, and there wasn't enough damage to take them out.
Running on mid here, we do have 3 rotating here on Monster, and the stun actually manages to hit on, but it'll only be once, and Spirit Breaker charging in just as more of a safety here for Monster on the Batrider. He's probably just going to get back, yeah. So full rotations here for the Batrider. Gets off the Firefly, and he's going to be just fine.
That was a really lucky bounce. I thought that from the range creep it was going to go right back to Monster, and I feel like, you know, it's only a 1-second stun, but that would have been the end of the hero. It would have made a difference between full health and complete death.
Yeah, and as we talked about on bottom, Mirage doing quite well here, sitting at almost level 5, 18-5, top in that top of the charts here for the last hits. And, you know, full rotation coming in. They know that this Viper's going to be a little bit out of control, and Oranji wants to actually get more farm here, so they do rotate him down on bottom. And you might just see Tusk kind of separate himself and maybe go top. But it will be Northern Peru this time on the Gyro, getting a lot of free farm, and this is what the Gyro needs. Unlike last game, there should be a lot of free farm for him, and you know what? He loves getting these kind of heroes, because last game it was the Bloodseeker all alone by himself, getting all the farm in the world, and this time Gyro, he's one last hit behind top of the charts here, so doing quite well.
And it looks like Shadow Fiend's hard camp was taken out there.
Tusk throwing out the snowball deep here on Viper, and they will manage to bring down the kill. Tombstone being expended, but not going to be any real damage coming out from Kangan, and yeah, it's a great pickup.
It was because of all the aggression top, you know, I was giving Orangey maybe a little bit too much credit because he only has 5 last hits here, so while he was up there, he was getting almost nothing in terms of CS.
On Oranji you're talking about?
Yeah, no, yeah, he's got now 6 on the Anti-Mage, and at 5 minutes, he's really falling behind here.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty with the top lane, as we were talking about. Yeah, he was getting a couple of kills there, a couple of assists as well, but really no big farm to his name. Finishes off the poor man's shield sitting at about 600 gold, so I mean he can go for boots if he wants to, but yeah, not a lot of gold coming out from him, and there's no real good lane for him to go in. Raj is already doing quite well, sitting quite comfortable, almost level 6, and picks up a headdress, so it'll be an early mech coming out for him most likely. And he's already pushing this tower against an anti-mage. I mean, what can you do against a Viper when you're this squishy already?
No, there's really not much you can do. I mean, the living armor is just taken down so quickly by the poison. Is it poison attack? Yeah. So Oranji, he just really has to play it safe. Maybe get his supports to try and pull for him. There is a ward here, but it's not blocking the pull camp.
No, it's... I don't know. It's more of just a defensive ward, maybe, just in case they're double pulling. And Monster's going to rotate in here. They want to take down either a Leaf or the Anti-Mage. And he's going to throw out the Firefly. This might be... Yeah, does toss out the Flaming Lasso on the Treant. And Araj is going to rotate in. They do manage to get a lot of slows off, but Tree's still pretty tanky. Throws out the Leaf Seed. Running pretty low here, and it will be Monster actually getting that kill. Persian Prince rotates in, but a charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker off the side here. Araj throwing off the ultimate on Persian Prince, and they're going to go deep on him. He's running low, under half health, slowly ticking down, and manages to die. Viper does pick off that kill. Oranji running pretty low too, sitting at about half health, and they need to get back. Kisa running really low himself. Anti-Mage actually wanted to jump in and turn on this, but probably the smartest decision to stay back here. Salve going off, so Kisa will be just fine, and Araj doing just the same. So it will be 2 deaths here for NIM, and definitely a great pickup here for NoBroodMama.
This is a prime example of how important just even small amounts of experience are in the early game for these encounters. I mean, they didn't see that Monster on the Batrider did get his level 6 in the Radiant Jungle, so he was very quickly able to just rotate in and really make something happen. And on the flip side, Orangey, who is... No, he's gonna back off from Mirage, but Orangey didn't quite have his 6, so he couldn't finish off that Spirit Breaker, because I think that would have been really clutch.
Yeah, just not enough damage yet. Obviously, it's an anti-mage. You need to farm even more. And lots of little kill potential. I mean, the survivability is great for the Treant and the Witch Doctor, really keeping Orangey safe. But as I said, there's just not enough damage coming out. And we see that win with the Viper. He's pretty comfortable. Sitting at, yeah, he's already got his buckler, so on his way to his mechanism, dealing enough damage right now that he's really picking off these supports and carries.
Yeah, looking at Gyrocopter top, he's already like sitting very close to his helm with the Dominator. He'll probably start stacking his own Ancients with that as soon as he gets it, and he's, yeah, been completely uncontested up here. 45 CS at 7 minutes 40 seconds.
And they gotta realize that from last game. I mean, Bloodseeker, complete free farm, just no contention really. And Northern Peru doing it again here on another great carry, and they haven't really keyed up on him at all, as we've been talking about. Second in last hits, and yeah, once he starts stacking his camps with that Helm of the Dominator, it's going to be really hard for them to do anything. Call down actually being expended here on Persian Prince, and the snowball comes out to turn right back on him. More of it's just to deter so he doesn't die. And Rocket Barrage going out again, and Persian Prince running really low does manage to bring him down, so it will be a free solo kill here for Gyrocopter. And that's huge on him for sure. I mean, that's even more gold. Finishes the Helm of the Dominator and already back up to 600 gold, so Gyrocopter doing quite well.
Monster on monster action happening here mid. Batrider did have an Invis rune. It looks like they're going to be closing in on Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend going down there, so charge coming out from Kisa. And yeah, great pickup here. Batrider still with a regen rune, so even after expending basically everything, he will be just fine to push this lane again. And that's a huge pickoff to get a Shadow Fiend this early on.
Oh, Gyrocopter still just continually free-farming them. The only one contesting him here is a level 4 Witch Doctor who's just getting destroyed by that Rocket Barrage.
Persian Prince might actually want to jump right back in on this. They know Northern Peru has no more mana left, but he's going to be just fine. Escapes with full health. And down on bottom here, it's going to be a Raj and Kangan. And this is the horrible lineup that I was talking about. The Tombstone plus the Poison attack. It's so destructive, and you know, it's going to be a Leaf sitting here, staying way far back, as well as a Ranji. He wants to jump in there, get any sort of farm he can, only with the Ring of Health right now. There's literally nothing he can do, sitting at 22-0, and I mean, look at the one Poison Sting, completely forces him back. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but there's really no farm to be done here for the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is speak too soon, because, you know, you never know with a late game and an anti-mage, but I feel like it was just a very greedy pickup, and they're going to have to work really hard to make it work here.
For sure, if this goes late game and Anti-Mage does always come online, you can never count out an Anti-Mage, but right now they're doing everything they need to against Aranchi. Him going up top in that tri-lane was great for them for a bit, but really no farm to be had, and now that he rotates down on bottom to try and get some free farm, they're not going to let him have any.
Meanwhile, Monster on
charge going down here on mid. Yeah, Monster actually getting charged in on again, but does turn around. Coconut being thrown out on Kisa. You know, he's not going to have a charge up here for another 6 seconds. They could chase this down if he throws out a leech. Does not have enough mana. And they're going to get away just safe.
That courier was very close to getting destroyed by the Shadow Fiend. One hit, but it did manage to walk away. Got out of range just in time.
Batrider actually being a great pickup here. I mean, I didn't expect that at all. He's sitting at 1-0-2. What do you think of the bat so far? I mean, he's pulled off some pretty clutch plays, I'd say.
He has, but I don't understand this going for drums first, and I've seen this done before, and it never really makes sense to me. I think that Blink is just so imperative. He doesn't really need the stats because he gets out of the action so quickly. I'm not so sure.
Anti-Mage bringing down Undying, so that's another good kill for the Anti-Mage, sitting at 2-0-3, so even though he's not getting the best of farm, he's still getting some little pick-offs, and you know, it's a great pickup on the Undying, a little bit of extra gold for him.
That's exactly what he needed to, and the Viper is hanging back a little bit now. He knows that the Radiant supports are in the jungle, and he's going to be able to get a little bit of me time.
Right now, taking a look at the XP charts here, we got about a 3k lead here in XP for NoBroodMama, and also another over 3k lead in net worth. So NoBroodMama doing pretty good. Still just 5-5 here for team fights, but I mean, with the Anti-Mage, he will eventually come online. Look for him to go in the jungle rather quick once he picks up that Battle Fury. But it really is the Viper doing so much work in this. 48 and 15 in this off lane, now against a tri-lane, and does have that mech. It's really hard to bring down a Raj.
Yeah, it definitely is. Viper just being so tanky. I want to draw your attention, though, to top lane. This deep ward that they've got off is going to let them siege the tier 1 and even the tier 2 very early. They're looking to take away map control again. This is something that BroodMama has displayed last game to great effectiveness, and I think it'll help them a lot in this game as well.
Yeah, and Gyro already sitting pretty comfortable. He's sitting at 1100 gold, does have that helm as we saw before, picks up the Bassi. What do you think he's going for next here?
I don't want to say Vlad's. I think it's just a casual ring of Bassi to give him a little bit of extra mana regen in lane, but he's going for a kill.
Persian Prince TPing in and gets picked out right away. Lasso going out as well as the charge, and it's a quick kill for the Batrider, and they're going to go hard on this T1 tower, and they should be able to bring it down with no ease. Complete rotation down here on bottom. We got 3 heroes still in this tri-lane here for NIM, and it will be Monster rotating back mid, so they're going to let this T1 tower fall up top. And Northern Peru sitting really comfortable, does pick up the Blade of Alacrity, so this could be an early Yasha, I believe.
I think that they made the right call by just sacking the top tower and staying bottom, because they need to protect their anti-mage. They cannot forget that. It's the most important part of their strategy right now.
Now, let's take a look at this Undying. I mean, Undying gets picked up quite a bit recently, as a support, semi-core, whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't really have anything going on right now. He's just picked up the boots, and he's really just kind of sitting as a comfortable, I don't know, survivability tool for a Raj just in case he gets jumped. But what do you think this Undying needs to kind of build looking into the future in this mid to late game? I mean, do you want him to tank up, go for that Shivas, or I don't know what else to say really. The mech's already being built, so either that or kind of more a supporty item, maybe even a Yule's.
Fear. He needs to build fear in the hearts of his enemies. Really, I do really like the Guardian Greaves on Undying. It's unfortunate that the mech's already picked up by Iraj, but I don't know. He could go for a Blade Mail and just be a frontliner if he wanted to.
The only thing with the frontlining Undying, it's great, but against an Anti-Mage, when Anti-Mage will eventually come online, once your mana's gone, it's pretty hard to stay alive as an Undying, even with his Flesh Golem form.
But if you do, yeah, if you have popped your Flesh Golem, you have popped your Tombstone, there's not much else that you really have to get off besides the occasional Decay and Soul Rip. But if you're taking up the Anti-Mage's time, I think that you're just leaving more space for the Gyro to sit in the back and flat cannon people to death.
That's true. Let's not forget about the Gyro as well. I mean, he's doing quite well. Has finished off the Yasha, and you know, he's going to finish off his Ring of Aquila, and this is exactly what the Gyro needed to do last game. Look, he's already taking out the Ancient Camps. That's a double stack, I think. Maybe even a triple that he picked off. And just the stacks from the Satan. Charge coming in from the back, and Orangi actually being charged as well as the Flaming Lasso, and that's exactly what they're leaning on. Monster throwing out the Requiem in the back, and Batrider picking off the Tree Protector will be the Anti-Mage taking down the Spirit Breaker. But here comes Gyro, and manages to take down a Shadow Fiend as well as the Witch Doctor, and this is the full rotation coming out from MBM. And Snowball being thrown out by the Tusk just as more of a survivability tool, because he's going to be turned around right away here, and he will go down. And that's going to be another kill here for the Gyro. That's a triple kill for the Gyrocopter. Anti-Mage narrowly escaping with his life. And this is going to be another tower here for NoBroodMama. And just look at the survivability. I mean, Spirit Breaker going down pretty quick here. But other than that, they're all pretty full health. And, you know, the rotation from Gyro could not have been better. Call Down being expended, Rocket Barrage 2 or 3 times to get those kills. I don't know what else to say. That was a great rotation here from NoBroodMama.
Yeah, absolutely. They picked the right time to go in, and Anti-Mage was able to pick up a kill with his Mana Void, and I'm really surprised that he made it out alive, especially because he was getting absolutely beaten down by that Spirit Breaker, but just in time, Shadow Fiend went in and was helping him right-click him. Managed to escape with his life.
And it will be Batrider actually picking up the Boots of Travel, so that's even more for him. Already at level 11, and when you take a look at this kind of team versus team here, level 11's pretty high up against NIM. I mean, Anti-Mage sitting at 9, we have Persian Prince on the Tusk at 8, but it's really the Tree Protector and the Witch Doctor that haven't done a lot this match, only at level 5 and 6. I mean, that's really difficult for a support when you're that low.
Okay, but I just gotta ask, like, why is he not getting the Blink Dagger? It was something that was considered absolute core on Batrider. It was almost the only item that he actually really needed, but Monster doesn't seem concerned with that.
No, the speed coming out from the Boots of Travel in combination with the Firefly is just helping so much. Monster's really going for a lot of great team fight, and once you're in the Firefly, you don't really need that early initiation that you usually get from the Blink Dagger, because he's just kind of using Flaming Lasso as just a follow-up, just as more of a secure of a kill rather than starting anything. But he'll start this initiation, jumping right on Monster on the Shadow Fiend. Charge going out, but I think that might have been a little bit of an early charge. Nope, he still stays up the cliff. And Treant actually having a 6, throws out the Overgrowth, and Requiem being tossed as well. Witch Doctor getting off a huge Death Ward in the back, and that will be 2 already going down. Shadow Fiend falling for himself, but that's 2 great pickups. Araj wanting to go hard on this Anti-Mage, but he's falling rather quick. Tombstone being thrown out, Araj doesn't go down quite yet. Anti-Mage having to blink away, and Persian Prince actually does fall down to the Gyrocopter. And a Leaf falling pretty low. The Sentry Ward does come out, 1 more hit. And they have to expend another one, but they do get the kill. That's a triple kill again for the Gyrocopter. And that's a 4-for-2 trade here for NoBroodMama. And that was just a great team fight for 9-inch males. That Death Ward on the cliff was so huge, but just not enough to bring them down. Just so tanky of a team here for NoBroodMama. And Gyrocopter rotating in and stealing all those kills.
Yeah, despite how it ended, I want to give a shout out to Burden for that Witch Doctor Death Ward, because it was raining gold for that Witch Doctor. It couldn't have been a better placement. Unfortunately, as you said, Northern Peru just coming in along the back and picking him off pretty easily, but it was entertaining while it lasted.
And that's what we were calling. I mean, in combination, you saw that Overgrowth come out from Tree, which was huge, and then in combination with the Death Ward and the Requiem, that was great teamfight action, but yeah, just not enough damage coming out. And Shadow Fiend getting the deny on that tower, unfortunately for Northern Peru, but still sitting quite comfortable. He's on his way. Actually, he actually finished his BKB already. Northern Peru just sitting so healthy here on gold, and with those, what is that, 2 triple kills now? Sitting at 7-1-1. Quite comfortable lead. And a Leaf throwing out Overgrowth again just to survive, but this will be a death coming out. He's ticking rather low. They might have, yeah, charge coming out. There will be the Batrider picking off that kill. Nope, no way at all. And Anti-Mage is going to have to get back. He's pretty scared for his life as well, and this could be a definitely a T2 tower. Tombstone was expended up here in the trees, but I don't think they really even need it. Without this Treant, there's not a lot of survivability to be had, and Anti-Mage, still only with the Perseverance, goes back to farming, and he's sitting on mid lane, being charged right now. And they're just starting to knock down towers here for NoBroodMama, and this is quite the lead. Taking a look at XP, they're sitting at about 8,000 in lead, and about 10k in net worth.
Yeah, it is a sad state of affairs. I mean, he's got his broadsword now, but Anti-Mage is an entire Claymore away from finishing that Battle Fury. And let's not even talk about the fact that he has to farm once he has that Battle Fury, and his jungle is being very quickly taken away as Broodmamas continue their pattern of map control.
And I have to say it, NoBroodMama really getting the most out of their drafts. Whoever's drafting for them, if it is a Raj, has been doing such a wonderful job. I mean, last game, I've seen it before with them having the Bloodseeker and Zeus, and it worked in the semifinals. So, I mean, I expected that to work quite well for them again because they've seemed to play it quite a bit. But complete shakeup in a lineup. I had no idea what was going on. Batrider, Viper, Gyro, Spirit Breaker, and an Undying. Those lanes are all over the place. And you know what? It's worked out beautifully for them. Sitting at 15 and 8 here, and they've continually gone for team fights and tower push at the same time, and they're doing just so well. And it's great to see a reshuffle of a draft and still work well to a team.
Yeah, we're seeing the net worth dip below the 10,000, closing in on 12,000 here in favor of NoBroodMamas, and I don't think that there's a lot that NIM can do as a contingency plan. This is pretty much BroodMama's game to lose.
Now, let's call it for a sec. Let's say that NIM does come back. 9-inch males do have an anti-mage, they do have a Shadow Fiend, there's still a lot of damage to be held. What is the biggest key factor that they need to do right now? Because obviously the anti-mage needs to get into the jungle or something to be able to farm, but it's going to be pretty difficult once this T2 on bottom goes. Like, where should they start splitting lanes and go for other towers for the anti-mage, or what do you think is the real deal that they need to do?
It's actually all on A-Life. He needs to set up the most perfect team fight. If he can get off a beautiful overgrowth into the Requiem of Souls and the Death Ward, they could really wipe BroodMamas, despite how far ahead they are, and start taking towers and even a Roche. That's what they need. They need the quick money from the towers.
Hang on top. We got a lasso going on a Persian Prince. It will be the Witch Doctor that manages to get away with the TP. Snowball being expended, but they're throwing him right back underneath the tower. And this will be a dead Tusk again. So wanting to push to get extra gold for that anti-mage, but proves to be not very useful as the Tusk does go down again. So, you know, this Tusk pick just has not been working out well for him. It really suffered down on bottom lane the last game, and even in this one, he's 2-6-2. I mean, just not enough. And no disservice to Persian Prince at all. He's playing a pretty good Tusk, but the hero in itself, other than Snowball, you just don't have enough to contribute to a team fight. And down on bottom, it will be a monster kill.
Yeah, Burden only has the level 1 Death Ward, and it's really just not doing enough damage in these team fights. And just the coordination for their team fights is not quite there.
Yeah, that's something that I've seen that NoBroodMama really has is coordination. I mean, their team fights are just kind of on point. They just know when to go, know when not to go. And their stuns are always there and ready to kind of lead out. And their tankability in this lineup is just too strong and proving really hard to go up against for 9-inch males. And as we talk about it, they're going to go right into the Rosh pit. And this will be a free Aegis here for Northern Peru. And he's on his way to an MKB.
Yep, and Viper is sitting 300 away from his Aghanim Scepter. And I don't think that there's anyone on the side of NIM that can really stand up to that right now. Anti-Mage is about 50 gold away from his Claymore, but he's still going to be squishy as all hell.
Roshan has fallen.
Free Aegis going here to the Gyrocopter, and that's a free 200 gold going to everybody for NoBroodMama, and they're just going to rotate around. I mean, all outer tiers towers gone here for 9-inch males, and not a single tower for NoBroodMama going down, and that's just utter dominance in map control. And wards stacking on top of each other. They have a lot of ward presence, really panning out to see everything that's going on in the jungle, so this anti-mage cannot farm at all. And it's just so difficult for this anti-mage to come back right now.
They need to make a smoke play and get a pick off somewhere. I think that's really the only way they can reliably come back right now. There's a smoke up on the Train Protector, but I'm not seeing any signs of them grouping up for it.
Ping's going out here. Monster did spot out the anti-mage. He's got his invis rune here on the Batrider, and you could see a rotation up top. Charge might be going out here rather quick. It does go on Orangi, and if he does get the Flaming Lasso in time, this is going to be huge if they get the kill. Charge being expended, Flaming Lasso coming out, as well as the ultimate from Kisa, and this will be a dead anti-mage. So killing spree, that's 541 gold going to the Spirit Breaker, and that's a huge pick-off. Just no sort of farm coming out from this anti-mage, and it's just proving so difficult to get anything online here for NIM. And really, they can just continue to keep doing this and get the pickoffs, because, I mean, NoBroodMama just so strong right now, and we haven't even seen this Gyrocopter in quite some time other than that last couple of kills. And you know what? He's 300 gold away from that MKB.
Now, Monster just displaying an amazing amount of control there during that pickoff. He held onto his lasso until the very last moment of the Spirit Breaker ultimate, and yeah, it really assured the kill on an anti-mage that otherwise would have been able to slip away quite easily.
And now we talk about the Undying here. I mean, does finally pick up his arcane boots. What do you think he's going to finish off with?
I don't know, we were talking about this earlier, and I think that anything will work at this point. Maybe he should just go for a Shiva's. Just all in.
Oh, he picked up a Glimmer Cape.
Look
at that.
Aww.
Good little support
it's
item.
Like crowd favorite.
Everybody picks up a Glimmer Cape.
I love Glimmer Cape. I remember the first, like, it took me a good month after 6.84 coming out to pick one up, but I just loved it.
It's so cost efficient, really. It's a huge item. Kisa charging again on Orangi, and you know, Orangi doing quite a bit of work here. Running out of mana, really low on the Spear Breaker, and Orangi can turn around on it if he wants to, but the Solar Crest doing so much work for the Spear Breaker. Does expend the ult, wands up, and I don't think he can go any deeper.
No, not under that tower. He is still very squishy. It's amazing, actually, Batrider was trying to initiate on the anti-mage, but he took out the creep that he was BOTing to, so Spear Breaker was kind of left out to dry.
Does manage to bring down the Tusk. He will buy back, so they want to defend this tower, but it's falling really quick, and they need to jump in there right away if they want to. Aegis still up on Northern Peru for another 2 minutes, and Burden being jumped on hard here, already below half health. Everything being expended. Requiem coming out as well. Call Down doing a lot of work, and Northern Peru is running pretty low, but still has the Aegis, and he's just dominating through on a godlike streak, and it will be Kangan on the back on a double kill. And that's just a full wipe. Buyback coming from the Witch Doctor, and Gyro's going to let that one last hit card to use his Aegis up. And this is going to be a free set of racks, and they might even just prove to go harder on it, because nobody has buybacks here on 9-inch males, and they're going to call GG. And that's going to be game 2. Game 2 for NoBroodMama, and I mean, last game was great, but this one was just so dominant. A real dominant performance coming from NoBroodMama in this best of 5 series. And I mean, really well drafted for Raj there. Great draft all together. Gyro really doing a lot of work, getting so many kills. But not only that, it's just the combination of tank ability was just too much for NIM to handle, and just not able to get the anti-mage online.
I gotta say, you're right, it definitely is the drafting that is winning these games, and we're gonna have to see if 9-inch males is able to step it up and really meet them and not be too greedy with their picks. So join us for game 3. Yes.
Yeah, and we will take a little short break as we're gonna switch around the Twitch stream and stand by for game number 3.